Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Curbison, joined with Reed Bacon. Have a great podcast. We're talking Tennessee basketball. But before we get into any of that, please, if you're watching, rate and review. Like and subscribe. I almost mixed it up. Leave a comment for us. We absolutely love the comments and love to respond to you guys. If you're listening, rate and review, download and re-download. It helps us so much. Check out our merch, How We Doing Bud t-shirts in the link below. You can get it in orange and in white. And follow us on social media. At Believe in Tennessee for our main account, at rbacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Curbison for myself. On this podcast, we're talking Tennessee versus Bama. Well, oh gosh, how great it feels to beat them. And then Tennessee versus Kentucky. And a little bit of letdown spot up at Rupp Arena. And where is this team going to be at the end of the season? So we get into all of that. So it's a great podcast. Let's jump into it.
By the game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir. Reed. No, sir. Reed. Final score. Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up. Fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Pence, touchdown on play number 1.
All right, so before we jump into the podcast, got to shout out our number one sponsor, betonline.ag. It is the place to go for betting. It is your number one source for betting. They have all the odds, all the team totals, all the parlays that you could ever want, and they cover every sport. You got NFL, you got NBA, you got tennis, you got golf, you got baseball, you got everything you could think of. It is the place to go if you're going to bet on anything and make anything exciting. So for first-time signups, go over to betonline.ag, and for a 50% welcome bonus, use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, at checkout and receive that 50% welcome bonus. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, welcome in, everybody. Another amazing podcast. I say it every week, but by God, do I believe it. We're talking Tennessee basketball. Again, it's what's going on right now. And boy, is it a roller coaster. But before we get into that, Reed, how are we doing, bud?
Kyler, how we doing? Comedy, yeah! See, it's been a couple weeks.
Comedy, hi.
Leroy Jenkins.
Bro, that is such a niche, funny thing, the Leroy Jenkins. Like, only a certain age will get that, because it was like beginnings of YouTube, beginnings of like meme culture. And it wasn't it Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, that or World of Warcraft. I don't know what game
it might have been World of Warcraft. You're right.
We have, you know, obviously Jack, my really good buddy, went to the, you know him because he went to Catholic and was actually in that biology class with us, and then went to
one of the many reasons where you get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And then we went to the Florida game together. But Jack, we joke that his middle name is Chaos. I call him Jack Chaos Gillespie because he's there for the chaos and the like. He loves the adrenaline. That's why he loves gambling. That's why he put some big money up, and he loves it, and he's all about it. He's like, I just want as much chaos and as much intensity and all that as I can. So I joke that when we're playing like Fortnite or Halo, every once in a while I'll just go Leroy, because I mean, like, we'll be playing like a King of the Hill map or Capture the Flag, and you just see Jack just going.
Go. He dies, gets revived. Go.
That's it, bro. I mean, his KD sometimes. The rest of us are like, Jack, chill out. Like, have some sort of intelligence to how you're playing this game. But it's funny, bro. He says, he goes, I know one speed. It's all full go. So sometimes out of nowhere, I'll just be like, right before the game starts, and I'll just be like, Leroy.
His KD looks like our 3-point percentage.
Facts, bro. Facts. Great weekend over here. Basically just all weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hanging out with the lady friend, the new lady friend, and just hanging out with her. We went to Mass yesterday. Went to dinner on Friday, but then yesterday we went to Mass, and then went to Harvest. We'd been to the Harvest on Kingston Pike. Liked it. We went to the one downtown yesterday. Liked it, and it's funny, bro, because my entire family went to Harvest like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think I said it on here, but it was like the worst meal. It was like we were 12, 13 deep, and every single person had something shitty about their meal.
That's not a good sign.
No, so we stayed away clearly for a couple of years, but then people out here in Holston were like telling my mom, like, hey, no, it's good now. Like, they do a good job. So I was nervous, but she and I tried it a couple of weeks ago and we liked it. But now she wanted to try this other location, check out the vibes at a new place.
Whatever.
Yeah. You know how I'm like, okay, but so it's fine. Then today we did House Mountain, which I love that hike. It's a good hike, but bro, she loves Adopo, and I like Adopo, and I'd been a couple times where I liked it. Then another time I went and it wasn't as good, but we went a couple weeks ago because she likes it. It was so good. I said after the hike on Sunday, let's go back to Adopo. And Kyler, I kid you not, it's probably now my favorite restaurant in all of Knoxville. And the thing is, it's so weird about this, as you know, I did not grow up liking pizza. I did not start liking pizza until legitimately 2 years ago. And even like a year ago, so 2 years ago I started eating it. A year ago, I would still have to like crave it, be in the mood for it. I couldn't just have it any day of the week like you. I mean, you could eat it every meal. But bro, we went there today, and even their gelato is so good for dessert. But I mean, it was incredible today. Incredible. I called you on the way home. I said, hey, I'll be home to do the podcast in 20 minutes. And by the way, this meal I just had was orgasmic.
Yeah, that was the most important thing. Not like, hey, I'm going to be, at this time, this is when we can do it. It was like, dude, I just had the most orgasmic meal.
No.
My only response was like, I mean, I guess I enjoy orgasm. Like, I'll enjoy that, I guess.
Yeah. Because the conversation started, you said hello, and I said, bro. And it just got quiet for a minute. And I was like, have you been to Adopo? And you're like, I mean, I maybe once. When you come in town, we're going, though. I'll take you there.
Okay, we'll have to compare it to Gavino's.
Hey, I love Gavino's. I'm just telling you, Adopo's better, but they're different styles. I mean, they're different styles.
Yeah. I get it.
Anyways, the roller coaster of emotions.
It's crazy. I mean, you can have them during the game and throughout the week.
Did you and I both knew that we both said it on our last pod that we were going to beat Bama. And then we both said that they're going to lose. The funny thing is, you said lose to whoever's next. Clearly shows that you and I had not looked at the schedule ahead of Bama.
I don't need to. I already knew the outcome.
Right. So let's hear your first initial thoughts on the Alabama game.
So Alabama game, obviously, like, thought we were going to win because that's how we just do it, and automatically, like, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but for 15 plus years, every time I saw a Roll Tide bumper sticker, A on someone's hat, a Alabama polo, I'd always duck my head, turn the other way, and be like, oh, damn it, those freaking Alabama fans. God dang it, I can't say anything to them. Now, every time I see one, I want them to look at me. I wish I could pull up next to them when they're in their car and I see a bumper sticker. I wish I had like a Tennessee flag that I could wave out my window. Like it like changed my mindset completely. We win one game in football. Now we win this game in basketball. And it feels so every time I see one, I'm like, I just want to yell go Vols in their face. So that is a perfect example of like my feelings after the game. Like that, I was so ecstatic and so just like, I love the fact we could rub it in their face. Like no matter what, oh yeah, who cares if you were ranked above us in football at the end of the season? Who cares if you're still ranked above us in basketball? We beat you. So
right, that's all
what
that
do you got to say? But for the game overall, there were things in the game that we talked about that I thought they slightly improved on because in the Kentucky game, they did not. They reverted back to what they did before, but like the extra passes that we talked about down low and just driving, just drive, just go to the basket, do it yourself. Zakai did that a good amount of times where he didn't pass it again. He just went and put it up, which I was like, hell yeah, man, that's freaking awesome. I thought, you talked about Miller going to Bama, being a Tennessee kid. Like I thought he played very well. And I think he went into the game like, I'm going home. I'm playing the home team. Like I want to show out. I want to be impressive. You know what I mean? It just kind of felt like that from him. So I felt like I noticed that early on. And man, Alabama was going underneath screens a lot for us and like leaving threes open to start the game, which helped us a lot. But at the same time, like if I was Alabama, like I'm not worried about going over the top. Like we shoot horrible from three. Like we're very bad. So like if I was them, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead and shoot. You're probably going to miss. But man, I was excited. I loved the finish because it always felt like these previous games, it just like was never going to happen. We were always just going to let the teams back in, but I thought they finished really well. Even though, Bama kept like making threes towards the end, like really trying to like crawl their way back into it. And dude, like I said it, I was like, I feel so bad for Vescovi, but what does he do? There's a time period when it's like 54 to 62, like it's like 8 points and Vescovi misses his free throws, but then his next two, he makes 4 in a row, makes all 4 of them. And it's just like the nail in the coffin because they're just trying to foul to get out of there. And he shows up exactly when we need him to. And okay, now we see it. Now we see what this team can be. And with what I saw versus Alabama, the number 1 team in the country, and what I've seen with this team all throughout, they could make the Sweet 16 or they could not even make the tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised. It is like insane the differences between these teams and game to game.
Yeah, but bro, we're a projected 2 seed. They are 1,000% in the. You were using that as an analogy.
I mean, yes, I was over exaggerating, obviously.
Yeah, we're 100%. And there's no way we're not. We could lose the rest of the games this year. We're in. I'm assuming. I mean, we're a 2 seed right now.
Yeah, but I don't know if we lost the rest of the games. What it would be like.
Okay, so maybe I just hit your.
Yeah, I think we have like 4 or 5 more in the regular season, and then if we just like lose right away in SC, like it'd be tough.
They're firmly in. I'm just saying. I was being exaggerating. Yes, if they lost,
but they could easily make the Sweet 16 and easily lose the first game.
That's better. Say that. Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. For me, for Alabama, it was a lot of what I expected. So we're at home. Crowd was great, even for a Wednesday night. And the boys played. I mean, I remember, me, I'm a big NBA guy, and I definitely love watching the NBA playoffs. I'm not going to act like I'm super locked in during the season.
Definitely not.
Meaning, like I will start watching. Like I will say this week, I woke up on Monday and I was like, I'm excited for Wednesday to go to the Bama game. and I started to get excited for college hoops and even more for the NBA. It's like I will pay attention to what's going on in the NBA. I will watch the highlights. I will read some stuff about
There's
it.
too many games, man.
But it's like after the All-Star weekend, which is this weekend, then I walked in. I will be honest though, when the Grizzlies had my favorite basketball player of all time, Zebo, and they had those grit and grind teams, it was same as when the Vols had Grant, Admiral, and some of those. Like I was locked in every night, bro. I literally had two years in a row when I lived in Nashville that I would watch basically every UT game and then almost every Grizzly game because they had it there. It was on Fox Sports South at the time. Now it's Valley Sports. Anyways, I digress. So this week I was like, all right, I'm ready for basketball. Like I'm in basketball mode now. And like I said, it was exactly what I expected to see us play well. And I will give the credit. What got me on that tangent was when I watched the greatest show on TV, which is the NBA with Kenny and
And
Charles and Shaq and
TNT.
So, yes, and Eddie or Ernie, like it's the best. It's the absolute best TV because it is so funny.
Except for this podcast.
It's so funny. It's so entertaining. But Charles said it on there. I remember this was multiple years back, and he goes, "Role players show up at home," and it is so true. I was like, he's so right. Role players, for whatever reason, show up at home, and then when you go on the road, that's when your dogs have to really step up. And it's so funny how that happens. That just like being at home, having the home momentum, like all that, whatever it is. But like our guys did that. And like when I was sitting there watching us play, like I said, he was exactly what I expected. Like, Adu, I mean, the game that guy played with a double-double and to have some blocks and to have big-time rebounds. And he missed, he had like one or two, like 15-footers that he missed. He even missed, I think, like a layup at that time. But I'm saying even with that, he made he played such a great game, and he really was my player of the game. Then you go to Jeremiah Meshack Jim. How do you say his first name? Is that right?
Jeremiah. What did you say?
Well, anyways, Meshack. So.
Oh yeah, Meshack. Yeah.
Watching him play in person in the first, because and I'll say this, and then I'll go to Brandon. Watching him D up Brandon Miller, and I was like, it was all. I mean, So I was with Tyler. He invited me. We had his parent-in-law or his in-laws tickets, which are great seats. So we're close, center court, and I'm seeing Brandon Miller up close, and dude looks like baby Durant out there. It was the exact same thing last year watching when I got to go watch and had their tickets for Auburn, which was I got to see Jabari Smith up close. But I'm telling you, like you see these guys in the way they move. First off, their size, then the way they move, and then their handles. Like his handles are as good as Zakai Ziegler, and Zakai's 5'8", 5'9". Like he just shouldn't be able to handle the ball that well. When I saw Jemai Meshack get in his grill like he did, it was just like Tony Allen guarding Kevin Durant in those old Grizzlies and OKC games.
Yeah.
He was, and you know what? Brandon Miller still scored 15.
Yeah.
But it was like, first off, 15 for the total, and that's lower than his average. His average was 18.9, so almost 19. But then I saw a great stat on Twitter that when Meshack was guarding him, he had like 4 points. It was like, and like I think all of them were from the line. I mean, so
and then we'll get to it, but then Meshack shows out versus Kentucky. It's like that kind of led into the next game, but keep going.
So and I tweeted this, and I really did I was not being like hyperbole. It was one of the most impressive basketball games I've seen someone play in person to not score a point and to have 2 turnovers. But how physically he was playing, the defense he was playing, the fouls he was drawing, literally he had a goose egg for points. He had 3. What I have it right here. He has 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and he had 2 turnovers. But it's like when I watched the game, like he made such a difference. And honestly, he has to be that good to make a difference because he is really poor on offense. I'm shocked that he put up 15 or whatever it was against Kentucky. But so, like I said in that tweet, I was so impressed with Adu. I was so impressed with Thompson, Bowling Arena. And then Euros, man. Euros had that one, which was so funny, where he I kid you not, Kyler, all of Thompson Bowling Arena came off their feet when he had he was about to back down. The Bama guy falls, and he kind of just throws it up behind him.
Yeah, the luckiest and one I've ever seen.
Luckiest thing in the world, and that place just riots. I mean, they are just up and at it, and so it was funny to see that. But he played a good game, and that's what the role players have to do. I mean, if you go and look at this, in Euros, if Euros gives you 10, and Santi and Double Z gave you both 15 apiece. That's what you need from those guys almost every game.
Yeah.
But when you get Adu to give you 12, I would like a little bit more from Olivier, but 9's not bad. 9 and 4's not bad. And then, like I said, you get 10 from Euros. That's going to be pretty tough to beat us when our role players are playing that good. So, yeah, it was everything I expected. And it was a great, like I said, great atmosphere, great time, great team win, which was great. A lot of big moments. I mean, it was pretty back and forth at the beginning, and then we pulled away and kind of held away. And so it was a very routine, typical college basketball, home team, home momentum, really making the difference.
Yeah. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Some of the other things that were different than what we talked about was the last part of the game, our only points were on free throws. That was it. We weren't making we didn't get possessions. It was only free throws. And to be able to take advantage of that and actually make your free throws was huge. You talked about Adu, and I wrote down stuff 3 different times on him. That foul before half, when he went for the dunk and they didn't call the foul, and then they called it on the other end. I thought that place was going to rip apart. Watching on TV, I was like, oh my God. But dude, let me tell you something. Adu, he's so big, long and tall, that he tried those little jumpers from the side of the basket a couple times and didn't have success. But if he is able to dial that shot in, how dangerous that would be. Because as soon as he steps out of the paint, it's wide open. And Zakai can just drive all he wants. And Vescovi can drive all he wants. And those two guys getting in there and making the defense freak out. And if they just hand it off to a dude, he can make just an 8-footer, just boop, right over. Oh my, it would be, it's an insane add to the offense, because everyone knows offense is the side where we're trying to make up stuff. We're trying to find things. We're trying to make it to where we can score points, because not everyone is great field goal percentage. Not everyone is great 3-point shooters. Zakai makes them when he needs to. Vescovi makes them when he needs to, but they still end up 3 for 10. So it's it's not great. So if there's any kind of introductory, any other wrinkles that we can introduce into the offense, it's let's do it. Let's try it. And I think that's what happened versus Kentucky, in the second half. And one of the reasons why Meshack was the one to score 15 points for us, when you never expected that out of him. It's just is there something that we can take advantage of on offense? I don't even know if this team really understands themselves offensively. I think they understand themselves defensively, but not offensively. It's just it's. I don't know where the points are coming from. We've said this multiple times. So it's just you don't know where the points are coming from.
I don't think they do, and I don't think the coaches do either when going into games.
Yeah.
But to kind of piggyback up, when Adu had that game last year, and Brandon Huntley Hatfield's still on the team, and Adu comes in and plays a well of a game against Kentucky last year when we beat them. And it's you think that you might not get that every game again next year, and it's kind of always a flash in the pan. But I really thought going into this year with another year under his belt, another offseason under his belt, that I thought we would see it more often than not, and maybe we just haven't as much as I thought we would. But it was great that he stepped up big in that way, against Bama.
Definitely.
And so that's not. And I got the stats pulled up, and I'm assuming there's other people, but I am a big nerd about the fact that I love that TBA has it up in the corner where I can see the players with the points, and
I think they give you like fouls
no,
too.
they give you points and I think rebounds maybe, but then on the other part they have field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, all that stuff. So I love seeing that because there's a lot. I will kind of take note. It's almost like, okay, first TV timeout, I'm going to look. The halftime, I'm going to look. Another, main.
It's also like, oh, what did they do in the first half, first second half? What did they do, after the timeout? Yeah.
And I love looking at it. So, and there was one that really jumped out to me at the Bama game, but now that I got it pulled up. So field goal percentage, we were 36.5. They were 35.4. Okay, very even. 3-point percentage, we were 26.1 and they were 37.5. So they were considerably better on threes. Free throws at home, we were only 64%, which is a bummer. We're going to get to that in the Kentucky game. But then they were 16 of 20, 80% from free throws. Then they beat us on total rebounds. We actually beat them pretty good on offensive rebounds. We had 13, they had 8. But here was the big deal. They had 19 turnovers to our 8. And one of those times during the game, I looked up and I specifically remember they were at 11 and we were at 2. And it was like decently into the second half. Mm-hmm. And so I really thought that was a much bigger deal.
That's what can make the difference when you shoot 36% from the field, 26% from 3, and 64% from free throws. Like, you see that stat line, you think that team lost 100% of the time, because it's almost the same the exact next game in Kentucky. It's almost the exact same stat line, if I remember. So I was looking at it earlier, but it's 37% from the field, 22%, and even worse, 28% from free throws. That is astounding.
It's insane. So to wrap up Bama before we get into this Kentucky, great win. And like I said, we expected it. It's also, besides how Tennessee's been playing this year, it's also just college basketball in general. You lose a game that you probably shouldn't lose, come home, and you got the crowd behind you and you win a game, and then you go on the road and you lose a game. But, like, hey, we still got the win. They bounced back. They handled Bama. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, the last 3 minutes, 3.5, 4, even 4 minutes, like, everyone in TBA knew that we were going to lose, unless it was like, I mean, even with the games that we had just had where we kind of choked it, like, we still knew we were going to win.
Yeah.
Like, we were like, I could have left the game at 4 minutes, 3 minutes ago and been like, okay, like, Bama's not coming back.
Well, I don't know about that. I was still a little nervous watching from home. I was like, don't do this again.
For some reason, I didn't necessarily feel that way, because just the way they had played and kind of handled business. And I will say, you made a comment about it earlier, when Santiago, when Vescovi, aka Vescovi, stepped up and made those, TBA erupted.
Yeah.
Erupted. And so it was funny because they were like, oh my gosh, almost one of those. But yeah, man, then you go into Kentucky. It was funny. I came home that night and I looked at our schedule because I wanted to see how many games we had left. And I said, oh, hell. We play at Rupp on Saturday. And I said, you know what? I said, we may have a better chance of winning since it's at Rupp and it's a Kentucky, so it's a bigger game. I was like, maybe that'll get them up to play better compared to, like, if we had just beat Bama and then we were going on the road to, like, South Carolina, just some random, not very good this year. Yeah. And that's where we, like, really let down. So I was like, maybe Rupp will like, the fact that Kentucky beat us once already, we're playing.
Yeah, it won't be a letdown spot.
Right. It shouldn't be a letdown spot. But we went and I watched that game from start to finish with my dad. And it's like, you just kind of knew the entire time that, like, this wasn't going well. I knew they would come back.
It was from the very start, man.
But it was like they just kept pulling away. And then I was like, Tennessee will make a run. I didn't necessarily know how much, but I kid you not, I honestly felt like I was watching the exact same game over again when we played them back in January at home. It just had the same feel. And I told my dad that I was like, missing dunks, missing putbacks,
missing free throws.
I said, this is the same bull crap that we did when they played here. And the other thing is, too, you were talking about Adu with that, getting that little jumper. I love watching Oscar Tshiebwe play basketball. I really do.
He's so good. He's so freaking good, dude.
He's so good, but he's just fundamentally sound. He's good. He does everything right. He plays the right way. He's not He's not like a jabroni out there where it's like one of these guys that's really good. They act like an ass. Like he's just like, I even remember gaining so much respect when they lost last year to St. Peter's and he was crying. I was like, bro, I respect it. Like he cares. Like he wants to win. He came back again.
Yeah. He's such a good shooter for a big man too. Like, God, he was perfect from free throws. I mean, he was killing us.
His 15-footer, like, his little 15-footer, even with a hand in his face. But, yeah, he went to the line, and my dad, towards the end of the game, my dad was like, come on, like, we got to make – like, he's got to miss – like, come on. Like, he was trying to will it into existence. Like, come on, miss one. I looked. I was like, he ain't missing one.
He even made a three.
I know. But it was funny because, my dad was trying to will it to existence. And I was like, he ain't missing. And he was like, I know he's not.
I know. It was him and Wallace. Wallace was absolutely dishing, dealing, taking it to the hoop, like just making it so difficult. And if he didn't make the shot, he'd get fouled.
Yeah.
And that right there, the fouls, the amount of fouls, like comparatively, it was, especially at the end of the half, I've never been so infuriated with the amount of fouls that we were committing, falling on dudes, and just like dumb stuff. Like there was under a minute left and we let them shoot like 10 free throws.
I know.
That is just unacceptable. That's one of those things where it's like, guys, if you ever want a chance, like you made it, down 12-13 to down 20 by the time halftime got there. I was pretty blown away by that, honestly.
So I told you, and I'm sticking to it, I'm not going to complain about refs because it is what it is. But it does really affect the enjoyment of watching basketball for me when I feel like there's a whistle every 10 minutes. I am a proponent of whether it's football or basketball. I would rather them all let the boys play, as I say, and just call it when it's absolutely necessary. Let there be hold your flags in football. Let them play a little bit. Let them play in basketball because it just makes it that much better of a product. But I will say it was right before halftime, and BJ Edwards is in, and they call that foul on BJ Edwards, and he's at the guy who just crossed half court, and he calls it, and I'm like, what the is going on here? Because first off, it wasn't a foul at all. Like BJ's there, he's got his hands, and the guy's dribbling, gives BJ a little shoulder to kind of like back him off, and they blow the whistle, and I'm like, first off, it's not a foul at all. Like when you rewatched it, it wasn't a foul at all. But I'm like, ref, what the fuck are we doing? Like, there's no it just stopped the game.
You're not helping Kentucky or Tennessee.
Right. That's my point. You blowing that whistle did nothing. Even if it had been a foul, it does not, because you know what? And I'm not saying the ref's supposed to know this or anything. He's just supposed to call it like he sees it. But like even BJ getting a foul on him does nothing. I memean, maybe if they're trying to help Kentucky get to the bonus quicker, but it's like that foul legitimately did nothing except stop the pace of play. And then there was then another one later in the game where Livingston goes up, gets that rebound, and no one touches him. He goes up, tries to grab.
He calls it a push, right?
They called it a push on us, even though he went up. No one touched him, not even close to touching him. He grabs it and takes his own momentum, took him out of bounds.
Yeah.
And they called it should have been Tennessee ball. And then they call and
we're down 8. We're down 8. We would have got the ball. Like I literally wrote it down. I was like, this is the turning point right here. We got it taken away. They got an extra possession. I think they missed, but then got the rebound and then ended up scoring.
And that's not even tic-tac. It's a legitimately horrendous missed call. It's not even tic-tac. It's not like someone just was resting a forearm on his back and they called it. It was legitimately a horrendously missed call. So it's like I just don't like the product. And like I felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, watching on TV, you watch both of them on TV. I felt like at Bama, they kind of let the boys play a little bit. And then
it felt very physical.
And then at Kentucky, it was I mean, it's just like, what are we doing? But yeah, Kentucky had, Kentucky played a well of game. I mean, they're going to have, Livingston has 12, Toppin has 11, Sheboy has 16, Case and Wallace has 16, and then Reeves has 8. I mean, that is so balanced. And then you go to us, and it's like, Olivier has 6. All Olivier can give you is 6 and 4. Adu comes back with 4 and 7, and I know Adu missed a couple bunnies. So did Olivier, and then Santiago just kind of put us on his back, like at the
Definitely.
start of the first half, and then into the midway.
I mean, I loved the energy and change they had coming out of half. I thought that was awesome.
It was great.
I thought it was great because you're down 20. We made it an 8-point game, like we were just saying. Like they fought their way back. They did not give up, which is like, you know what? I'll give it to you for doing that at least, but like, don't get yourself in that situation.
Right. And so, I mean, like, if it's not for Santi basically putting the team on his back, and then Jemiah Meshack literally having his career game, I mean, this is brutal. Listen to this. Like I said, Olivier 6, Adu 4, Zakai 8, Tyreek Key 1, Euros 2. I mean, bro.
Zakai had 8 on 2 of 10 shooting.
I mean, what are we? And then you go to this. Like I said, field goals. Well, field goal percentage isn't horrendous. I mean, 37%. I mean, that's winnable. But then you go to 3-pointers, and you're 6 of 27, so 22%. And then this is when I got mad. Like I said, I'm not getting mad I'm not going to get mad at Barnes anymore because it's just a waste of breath. He's going to be there till he doesn't want to be there, and I'm not going to get mad at referees because it's a waste of breath. But I will tell you, I will not watch a basketball team that shoots 4-14 and is 28% from free throws. Let me just take you back, Kyler. I was a very, 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 very average basketball player, like growing up.
Yeah.
I've stopped playing in high school. I just would play WBBL, whatever. Okay. I think I'm a little bit better than I probably am. But like I said, I'm just very average. And I get it. This is me having free throw contest with 2 buddies over Christmas break. I was with Austin and Bailey. Like I said, I've never grew up being that good of a shooter. The only reason I was halfway decent is because I was halfway athletic and would drive and stuff like that. If I can be at the Germantown Athletic Center in Memphis and go up to the free throw line, hadn't picked a basketball up in months, and I can go 8 of 10 from the free throw line. Now, I get it. I don't have pressure. I don't have people yelling. But you know what? I'm also not a Division I scholarship basketball athlete.
You've been practicing every day for 8 months.
I walk up there, and I can hit 8 of 10 on Christmas break when I'm down visiting Christmas. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable of this. And the thing is, it's not one jabroni up there missing all of them. It's the whole fucking team. It is the whole team. If you go 7 of 14 and you're 50% from the line, which is still horrendous, you guys are in the ball game. You know what I mean? It's like, I won't do it. I cannot do it. It's like, how is the entire team that bad? Like, I get it if Tobe isn't that good. I get it if Euros isn't that good. Bigger guys, but Zakai, Santi, Tyreek Key. I mean, we had guys missing the front end of one-on-one. So really, it's actually worse because we miss front end of one-on-ones, which is, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
when I got to it, and I was like, why in the hell did we only shoot 14 free throws to their, what was it, 35? They shot 35 free throws because we had 25 fouls versus their 19. That's not that big of a difference. It was literally missing the one-on-ones and fouling them while they're in the bonus multiple times. Stupid fouls. And it's like, guys, like, this game could be so much closer if you tweak just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Just make your free throws. And you, like you said, 7 out of 14, like we were as close as 8. That makes it a 5-point game. If you're 7 out of 14, that's 2 possessions. That's very easy to do. Very easy to come back.
It's legitimately, it's like I said, it's unacceptable. It's like playing a sport at that level and just not giving effort. Like if we were watching Tennessee football and they're like defensively, they're just not flying the ball. Yeah. You could win 4 games a year, but if you just fly to the ball, like, you know what I mean? And like you're giving effort, then it's, it's like, you're just not good.
Yeah.
But that was the one thing. And I was like, it's just bullshit. I was like, there's no way that I can go and shoot 80% in a stupid family free throw competition. And these guys are legitimately paid college athletes now to do this. I just can't do it. And the other thing is, besides the free throws, like we got in that double bonus. I mean, it's like 6 minutes to go in the game, and one of the announcers like, "Well, both teams are like going to the line." And my dad goes, "Hopefully that'll help us." And I said, "Guess what?" And he goes, "I know it's not because we can't hit our free throws." So, and I told my dad, I said, honestly, it's better that we have all these fouls now that we're in the double bonus for Kentucky because our whole team is hack-a-shack. The whole team is hack-a-shack.
Yeah.
Like if they just foul us, we're going to miss it. It's smarter for them just to foul us, put us to the line, and get the rebound. And so but then total rebounds, they're 40 to our 32, assists 11 to 10, blocks 2 and 2, steals 5 and 4, and they had 12 turnovers. We had 8. That's basically the only thing that we did good is just have less turnovers than them. But it's just like I said, I had a feeling we're going to lose. It still isn't fun to lose, but I wasn't mad about the loss. I was mad about the unacceptable from free throws. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, I know. And the 2 plays that really like drove me, like I freaked out, like wanted to hit something early on. Zakai passed to Vescovi as he's going underneath the basket, and he passes it again. I almost lost my mind watching that. I'm like, you literally have wide open basket. Like there's no need to pass that again. He does it. It's a turnover. Then later in the game, Vescovi drives. He passes to Awaka, even though he can make it. Awaka misses. Then Euros misses. Then Awaka misses again. And they're doing the like jump. Like are we playing 21? Are we playing tips? What are you trying to make the guy bust and go back to 0? Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Catch it and put it back. Do you know how tall they are? Do you know how easy it is to dunk at that height? If you're jumping up to grab the ball and then do a little shoot while you grab, just jump a little bit harder and dunk it.
Euros are so unathletic, bro. He can't dunk. Euros cannot dunk if he has someone on his back. Meaning, like, if someone is guarding him. Like
he needs 6 inches.
He can't. There's
like you just got to jump 6 inches, man.
There's a lot of guys in this world that say they just wish they had 6 inches, but they don't, and Euros doesn't. So Euros can literally only dunk if it's like if his guy comes off, someone hands it dishes, and he can go up. He's just unathletic, and it's like it's just. But yeah, it was. And I looked at my dad. I said, "This is the exact same game in January. They're playing better. They have our number." We can't hit anything. I mean, we literally missed so many bunnies. It was insane. Dunks, but like you said, putbacks. That putback, by the way, that you're talking about, it's like 5 minutes ago in the game. That had a chance to really like, okay, here we go. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was literally like I said, I wasn't mad because I'm not letting myself get mad about the loss, but it was painful. Like in a like, it's like it's like here, nope. It's like here. You know what I mean?
You gotta be quicker than that.
Yeah.
You gotta be quicker than that.
Yeah, so it's just, but yeah, it's just, it is what it is, man. So I guess when we go to the tournament, we just see what happens, see if we get the good team or the bad team. But
I mean, Tennessee could easily be like the one team everyone picks to be an upset. Like if they just like continue to just go up and down, they don't perform well SEC tournament. Like I could see them being like 6 seed. Like getting to a 6, and then in the second round being like the upset. They get to like I could easily see them getting to Sweet 16 just because they randomly play better. They force turnovers and play good defense, and the team doesn't know what to do. They haven't experienced that kind of defense yet. But
Dennis, well, by the way, we're sitting in this 2 seed right now. A lot of things can change. I don't see him get.
I really don't think that we're going to do well in the SEC tournament, especially if we have to play teams we've already played. It's going to be like that's not good for us.
I don't think this team's going to be any worse than a 4 seed. I really don't. I think they'll be 4 and below, but who knows? I could be wrong. Like you said, like I said, it could change. But the other reason is like all the teams that are behind, they're going to lose too because that's just how college. So, but I don't see them any.
The Alabama has 4 losses. Like that does like the number 1 team never has that many. It's always a 1-loss team, 2-loss team, maybe that has it. A lot of times undefeated guys.
That's usually because it's Gonzaga playing a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah, usually.
This basketball team could be like they could be the who's a good like they could be the 49ers. Our basketball team could be the 49ers. They could be good defense and run the ball, but ours would be play good defense and drive the basket and hit cheap free throws. If you have a good free throw team that can make 80, 85% and then get to the line 20, 25 times, James Harden style, and I mean, not one person, I'm just saying James Harden style, but like our whole team does it, we would beat so many teams because we play good defense. We get to the line. We don't have to make threes. We don't have to beat a guy off a dribble and hit a 15-footer. We wouldn't have to. We could just play good defense, get to the line, game's over.
That's what's frustrating is that we could change one thing about our game and be unbelievable, and it's the free throws, the easiest part of the game.
I say it all the time. Like, just like I said, I love driving in, get to the rack. I have no trust in us driving into the rack now. I mean, nobody can hit free throws.
Definitely don't. So frustrating. But let's see. I mean, who knows? We could bounce back. We could win out. Like it's so up in the air right now. I have no idea what team is going to show up at any moment. But baseball's around the corner, baby.
They didn't start off great this weekend, but it's all Gucci. It's super early, super early.
I know. I'm just excited for spring practice.
That's it, baby. Me and you both.
That's it. All right. Great pod, man.
As always.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download. It helps us so much. We also have merch right now. How We Doing Bud t-shirts in orange and white. So you can click the link below and go check those out. Follow us on social media at Believe in Tennessee for our main account on Twitter, at rbacon26 for Reed, at Kyler Curbison for all social medias, myself. And just really appreciate you guys. You're the ones that keep it going. Thank you guys so much. And as always, go Vols.